All right, how you doing? This is the Red Pill News Dispensary. I hope that notifications go out because I do have another show scheduled for 10:30. Although I might have to move it to 11 with this show. I just wanted to go live with this first because I just have so much intel that I'm kind of trying to get in. That with all the intel that I have on this next show, that again is scheduled for 10:30, but might have to move it to 11. I just want to get this story out because right now it's being reported all overseas, but it's not being picked up by the American news networks, at least not as of 20 minutes ago. So I just figured I'd get it out because it seems to be extremely important, and I want to make sure that I get this story out. So let me show you here. It's a little bit scary. We'll start off. Oops. Okay. And by the way, yeah. So I'm broadcasting from the phone because right now I got like the computer up. I got all the stuff up for the next show, and I don't want to give away some of the stuff that I'm doing, and I haven't like mastered this computer, nor have I found out exactly which way I want to broadcast. 'Cause the way that I could broadcast, it'll like show too much information. Anyways, so I just wanted to get this out. This is very important. This is, but then again, just before anything, when it comes to any stories with North Korea, you have to take them serious, but also, it's very weird how they, like the whole fire and fury thing, and they talk big, but like we don't know exactly what they're doing. At least, especially as citizens. Personally, I think that the deep state. I thought that they kind of like have North Korea in some way compromised, in some way in their control. And when I say deep state, I mean like the global elite. They kind of have North Korea as this boogeyman threat that really could be a threat because despite the poverty and the way the citizens are treated, it seems like they are coming across some serious advancements in what they're doing with their missile tests. And lately, at least, the appearance is that the United States and North Korea relationship has been deteriorating. And so that's the type of stuff I want to get into. I at least want to get it out to you guys. And you guys can decide for yourself what you think. Because I was under the impression that North Korea, we kind of cut the ties and set them free from this. But no, it seems like, yeah, it doesn't seem too good. So just give me 1 second because I'm on the phone, so I don't want to show too much. And also, so anyway, just so you guys know, now that people are in here, people weren't here before, I have a show scheduled for 10:30. I'm going to have to change that show time to 11, because by the time I'm done with this one, I'd have to go live right away. It wouldn't work. I'm still getting that show ready. So much intel, which is why, since this one was like the one that was like breaking, and it was being reported all across the world. So France, Israel, everywhere. And I didn't see anything in the U.S. So I said, you know what? I don't know why they're not broadcasting it to the U.S. It's directly involved with, well, it's all about us and North Korea. Well, mostly about North Korea, but a lot of it's directed towards us, the rhetoric. Anyways, okay. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to get this set up. It would take 2 seconds. Oh, I do already have it up. Okay. Oh, so make sure. All right, and last one. It's funny when you. All right. Alrighty. So. Why are they making this difficult for him? Oh, Google. It's funny. Google doesn't really want this. It's weird. So we're gonna have to go to Jerusalem. Wow. You know what? Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so basically, okay, so we're gonna be talking about North Korea real quick. Like I said, I got a large show planned. That show is scheduled for 10:30. I'm gonna have to push that show back because what I realized with this is that, I mean, I knew it was breaking just because of who I got it from. I could tell it was breaking, and plus it was updated 4 minutes prior. So I'm seeing it when you look it up. It's all you can see it all over the world: Jerusalem, France, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, all these different countries are talking about it. Yet it's really about North Korea and directly involving the United States the most. So, anyways, let's get into this. I'm going to show you a couple of things that maybe we should have picked up as warning signs. But like I said, with North Korea, you just never know. They're always saying things, and it doesn't always come to fruition, and you don't really know what to think of them. Because maybe that's part of the strategy. They're just always kind of like screaming crazy, and it's like nothing's gonna. And then all of a sudden, a groundbreaking test happens. So let's get into it. And by the way, the reason I'm not on the laptop is I got all my info for the next video on it. And so it was too much trouble to have to. I'm still getting used to this laptop, to be honest with you. And it would have been too much trouble without revealing stuff that I wouldn't want to reveal yet. Because the next show, like, it's scheduled for 10:30. But I was thinking it's a Saturday night. It's okay to push it back. Plus, by the time I'm done with this, it'll be 10:30 anyway. Probably even later. All right. Here we go. And first, let me say hello. Patriot, what's up? Bryfly, how you doing? Joe Shields, how you doing, brother? Brian Wilson. All right, 8 minutes and 0. Yeah, I can. That's fine, Brian. Um, it's coming right now. Ugh. Ugh, I just hate people's attitudes. Uh, Roxanne Sandel. What's happening in the house? How you doing, Michigan? Michigan in the house, I see. Jackie Bird. Do you think Kim J is dumb enough to really launch a missile yet? Well, I mean, we have an enormous amount of troops in South Korea. We have they could reach Guam, they could reach our allies, and we would protect Japan. We would protect South Korea and we have a bunch of troops in Japan. It's a chain reaction. That's what I would be worried about. Do I really think he can launch it here to California or Hawaii? Hawaii, realistically, potentially. I don't know if it would make it. I'm more worried about the chain reaction. I'm more worried about him hitting, South Korea, Japan, and then the chain reaction, World War III. And with technology today, that would be no good. That's to answer your question as briefly as I can. It's more so about that. You're kind of thinking of the immediate, missile, it'll hit us. No. Potentially, maybe. Who knows? Hawaii? Yeah, maybe. But I'm more worried about the chain reaction. They hit somewhere where all our troops are. Bunch of troops in South Korea. Bunch of troops in Japan. Both big-time allies that we will protect. Yeah. That's going to lead to missiles reaching here regardless. You feel me? So that's kind of how I look at it. And especially with everything going on, I mean, for those of you who watch the show a lot, I have been saying since the beginning of the week, I said this is going to be one of those weeks where every single day it's going to be distractions and big stories. But this one, I don't know if I put it in the distraction category. But maybe. Okay, let's get into it so that Mr. 8 minutes and 0 doesn't have a fit. All right. All right, you know what? First, I want to show you guys kind of how this has. There's been some warning signs. So here's something from 4th of December that I want to show you first. So tension. Look at the missiles. Well, I mean that could be from any time. Those are just batteries. Okay. Okay. So tensions between Washington. I got a bad knee. That's why I need to have like the desk, the setup. But I got some good news that we'll be talking about in the big show. That is no longer going. Anyone just joining us? It's not going to be at 10:30. It's going to be pushed back. Probably like to like 11, maybe a little bit later than 11. I'll change it that way you guys see what time, and I'll be on time. All right. Tensions between Washington and Pyongyang continue to grow as North Korean state media warn that a simmering conflict between the two nations could turn into a full-blown war at any given moment. Now, how many times have we heard that, right? So it's like I came across this, but I didn't think anything of it, right? Now I do. Even an incident could now lead to an all-out armed conflict, Korean Central News Agency warned, adding that if Washington resorts to military force, Pyongyang would promptly respond in kind. Now that right there tells me that Washington knew that this extremely significant test that they just pulled off, that reportedly was successful, Washington knew that they were doing this. I mean, of course they did. And North Korea knew Washington knew that. That's what makes that little paragraph make sense to me. Otherwise, why would we be thinking about using military force? Now it makes more sense. The stock warning comes a day after U.S. President Trump threatened to use military might of the most powerful country in the world against Pyongyang if he has to. At the same time, he also boasted averting no less than a World War III, as he took credit for diffusing tensions with North Korea. Which is kind of like that's kind of like a double negative. No, it didn't really make sense at all. He's diffusing tension is the next line after using force against. I don't really get it. Okay. Negotiations between the two nations have meanwhile reached a sort of a deadlock. Washington and Pyongyang expressed their commitment to the idea of the Korean Peninsula's denuclearization in exchange for lifting sanctions from Pyongyang back in June during the first direct talks between Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Yet, making concrete steps in that direction has proved much more difficult. The second Trump-Kim summit in Vietnam this February collapsed because of disagreements over the timing of sanctions relief. The latest round of working level talks in October failed to result in any meaningful progress. Pyongyang then said it was up to Washington to decide what kind of gift it would get for Christmas. Oof. I mean, that's just like... I mean, it's basically just been a war of words so far, right? I mean, it could get real, don't get me wrong. But it's been a war of words, and as far as war of words, that's a pretty good one. So, we're gonna fast forward a little bit. Now, you know what? Actually, that should be the last story. I'm sorry about that. All right, on to this. So here's what's catching my eye today. Now these photos you see of him, he is very careful. That's not the photo live from this test. They never are. Whenever you see a photo of him and his generals, it's planned. It was taken probably like a year ago, 6 months ago. Yeah, undated photo. Look at it, undated photo, and it was released in August. I mean, that's why North Korea, it's very weird. I mean, you guys, I'm sure you've done enough research on North Korea by now, if you're into the truth of stuff or interested in this video, that you know how odd it is with North Korea. Yet, at the same time, when you do see their military parades, all I see is millions and millions of soldiers goose-stepping down the road. I mean, down the, in perfect formation, goose-stepping at a perfect pace. All right, so, they use a lot of actors and faking, but that's not fake. Trust me. All right, marching like that is not as difficult. Not as easy as people think. It's a very difficult thing to have that many people be so coordinated in a difficult type of march like that. The goose stepping. So they're trained. They're trained well, and but that's not necessarily the threat. It's more the technology. So let's see. North Korea has announced it carried out a test of great significance. I should say that again. Quote, test of great significance. Then again, everything with them seems to be a great or a, they speak in like end world terms. But I do believe that this test, It's almost I can see why it can be strategic because I think this test is one of those of great significance, just based on the lack of coverage in the U.S. Yet around the world, the coverage is like they're all over it. I mean, every part of the world is talking about this, but the U.S. So that it was one thing that kind of brought my attention, and two, it's been kind of the talks leading up to this, just the deterioration in talks period, and then lately the tougher talks, the gift for Christmas, the all that. Trump's talking about all out war, and now all of a sudden there's this test. Now check this out, guys. This is from William Gallo. Okay, so he puts out this. He has this transcript here. So he says Trump on North Korea. Oh, it's question. I was thinking, I've been looking at so much Q. I was like, is he talking about Q? Is that supposed to be Q? All right. So Trump on North Korea. He knows I have an election coming up. I don't think he wants to interfere with that. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I really do, because I believe that when we have the globalists in there, the chances for North Korea to kind of be themselves and not be controlled become less and less and less. I mean, nearly impossible. I really do believe that. I think that's why they were even willing to sit down with Trump in the first place. But, with these significant dates coming up, the 9th with the D class, the 10th with the censorship, and the 11th with the testifying of the Inspector General on something that's going to blow this country's lid off, it's very interesting timing as well. I've been telling you guys all week, this is going to be a very interesting week. And if you're one of those Q deniers, if you've been watching since the beginning of the week, I know that you have to be wondering, like, it is kind of weird. This has been one of the most eventful weeks. And I told you, it's just going to get more and more intense. And that's exactly what's happened. So, okay. And up here he says, North Korea, we do not need to have lengthy talks with the U.S. now, and the denuclearization is already gone out of the negotiating table. And here's their full statement right here. On December 4th last, 6 member states of EU issued a joint statement viciously condemning the DPRK, following the closed consultation meeting convened at the UN Security Council by an urgent request of the UK, France, Germany, Poland, Belgium. It is yet another serious provocation against the DPRK that some EU member states criticize, this time again, our righteous measures of strengthening national defense capabilities. So stupid and serious is the symptom of their paranoia. Again, the English is going to be a little bit off, as to mistake the test fire of the super large. They almost talk like Trump, And there's no laughing matter, but I'm just kind of trying to lighten it up because it's serious stuff. Multiple launch rocket system, which completely belongs to our exercise of self-defense for ballistic missile launch. It makes us think that they may even take to the UNSC the test fire of machine gun if we do so in the future. Tough read here. These countries often take issue with our self-defensive measures of increasing national defense capabilities under the excuse of UN resolution. However, we have never ever recognized such resolution aimed at obliterating our sovereignty and the right to existence. As these 6 EU member states are making such trouble to play the role of pet dog of the United States in recent months, one cannot but wonder what do they get in return for currying favor within the United States. And you know what I think he's referring to there? What they are referring to is, heads are going to roll. And it's not a United States thing. It's a global thing. All right? And with that in mind, I think people are all of a sudden trying to be on our good side and, kind of, whatever they could do. I really think Trump has made a power move, and it's known amongst the elite, amongst the governments. As far as the public, it's a small portion, but it's about to become an awakening soon, very soon. Like I said, 9th to the 11th. On the 9th and on the 11th. And 9/11, you could say that, but, that's, I don't know. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it just happens to be. We regard their behavior as nothing more than a despicable act of intentionally flattering the United States, which brings extreme pressure to bear upon them with defense budget of NATO and trade tariff. If these countries are truly interested in resolving the issue of the Korean Peninsula, they should call a spade to the United States, which persistently pursues the hostile policy towards the DPRK in its attempt to stifle it. Well, it seems to be the one that worked until it doesn't anymore, right? The alleged sustained and substantial dialogue claimed by the United States is none other than a time-saving trick to expedient use of the DPRK-U.S. dialogue solely in its domestic political agenda. We do not need to have lengthy talks with the U.S. now, and denuclearization is already gone out of the negotiating table. The 6 EU countries would be better not to make so much fuss while interfering in other business impertinently. All right, so that's that. Now we get to some more juicy stuff here. So question, Mr. President, how do you plan on re-engaging North Korea in the negotiations? President Trump. Well, we'll have to see about North Korea. I'd be surprised if North Korea acted hostilely. I have a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un. I think we both want to keep it that way. He knows I have an election coming up. I don't think he wants to interfere with that, but we'll have to see. He's somebody that I've gotten along with very well for 3 years, and he's gotten along with me very well. So we'll see how it goes. But I really don't think he wants to interfere with the election. Can you see what he's trying to really drive home? Obviously, he does. That's kind of one of the best cards he's holding. Is he knows North Korea does not want to go back to the globalist crap, because that is when they are under the most pressure and they are weakened and controlled. Under Trump, they at least have an opportunity to join the world. Yet, I mean, they might even be right by this. They feel like their only way to really do it and actually be in a position where they can be a powerful trade country with their location right next to China, yet on a peninsula with Japan on one side, China on the other. I mean, and then South Korea, of course, right there. I mean, they could be a huge trade nation and really, really build economically from where they are. But it's not going to happen under the globalists. No way. Under Trump, there's potential for it. But they look at their quest for nukes as the reason that people are even willing to sit down and talk to them in the first place. We don't sit down and talk with the Somalians. because it's just they understand. There is a point to that. All right. Sorry to interrupt the president's words like that, but to continue, he's somebody that. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I think he'd like to see something happen. The relationship is very good, but there is certain hostility. There's no question about it. I don't know that his relationship with South Korea is very good, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Interesting. And yeah. Alright, so this guy, yeah. So now let's talk about this test. Did I read that part? So I'll read it again. North Korea has announced it carried out a test of great significance to the leadership of the country at the launch site close to the China border, adding that it will help to change the strategic position of Pyongyang. The reported test took place on Saturday afternoon local time. A spokeswoman for the North Korea's Academy of the National Defense Science reported in a statement carried by KCNA, which lauded the launch as successful and of great significance to the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. Quote, the results of the recent important tests will have an important effect on changing the strategic position of DPRK once again in the near future. The launch was carried out from the Sohae Satellite Launching Ground in Tongchangri, Chosan County, North Pyongyang Province. The statement said, okay, the site is located close to the North Korea's northern border with China. And usually that's where they have their test sites, is right there on that border. That mountainous border. Very few, I think I'm correct on that. Very few details have been revealed about the test itself so far, apart from the time and place where it was carried out. And now here's another little something. So we were talking about how it's off the table. It comes hours after a North Korea envoy to the UN rejects the U.S. call to galvanize the stalled negotiations, labeling them a time-saving trick. He went on to state that denuclearization of North Korea. He went on to state that the denuclearization of North Korea sought by U.S. President Donald Trump has already been taken off the table. Simmering tensions between Washington and Pyongyang have ramped up recently, with North Korean state media warning earlier this week that even an accident could result in a full-blown armed conflict, while urging Washington to refrain from using force against North Korea. And again, they keep on, it's almost like they're, letting Washington know, hey, if you guys hit us, we're hitting back. And, maybe China too, I don't know, But the fact that they're so worried about Washington hitting them, I think is the most telling of this whole video. Because what that tells me is that, even though everything they do is great and historical and, all these words, and it's just it gets to the point where you just stop paying attention. But it seems like they're actually worried about the U.S. doing something about this one. So, whether they were able to actually get a nuke onto a warhead, a delivery system, it could be many things. But it definitely has Washington's attention. And it has Washington's attention to the point that North Korea is already kind of putting out the threat of, hey, if you make a strike, it's going to be all-out war. So I find that to be the most telling of all of this. It's in the small details like that. Um, the stern warning came after Trump. See, they try to link it to this, but of course. But I'm sure. I guess the reason for Trump saying this would be they knew that they were planning on doing this test, and it turned out to be successful. The stern warning came after Trump issued a thinly veiled threat against Pyongyang, saying that he might unleash the all U.S. military might on North Korea if he thinks there is no other way to proceed. Interesting, huh? One more little. Trump says he may be Kim Jong-un's best friend, but he'll use America's military might against North Korea if he has to. We'll end it here. Pyongyang has repeatedly voiced its frustration over the deadlocked negotiations, which it labeled a foolish trick to keep the reclusive country bound to dialogue, without offering anything in return, such as the relief of crippling sanctions. On Tuesday, Pyongyang launched another broadside at the U.S. for its dragging out the talks, insisting that the ball is now in Washington's court. North Korea said that it is up to the U.S. what Christmas gift it will select to get. Again, so far it's just been a war of words, but that is that one sticks out to me. So, okay. I'm curious what you guys think. Let's see. So I'd like to hear what you guys think. I want to check chat real quick before we sign off. I want to know what you guys really think of this. Nicholas Brown, how you doing? Nicholas Brown. How you doing, Nicholas? Are you were you the one who told me about Q coming back before he came back? Was that you, Nicholas? Interesting. It's a name like that. Actually, wait. It was like two first names. Maybe it wasn't you. I'm sorry, but if it was you, please let me know. Question of the thing. What's the breaking news? Just stepped in. I think by then you've heard it since then. Sure you think that we struck back and we pissed some Chinese off? Yep, definitely. We would all die from nuclear war like instantly. They're China's bitch. Yes, and I also think that they are also kind of like the globalist bitch as well. But if they want to be their own sovereign, a true sovereign country, that isn't controlled in so many different ways by other countries, then this president is going to be their best chance. Or this could all be a smokescreen, guys. That's why I said, like, a lot of distractions lately. That's not to say that what's been happening is not legit. A lot of it's been legit. But yeah, it's just let's see. Yeah, but this one seems different. Exactly. Yeah, they the Democrats, they love it, which is really weird. We're supposed to be one nation, but like the Democrats like love news like this. Like watch, like tonight It's a weekday. Just like watch like one of the late shows. Watch CNN. Just put it on for a second. If you have cable, put it on for a second. Watch how giddy they're gonna be about this. This is serious. I mean, they might act concerned, but they love it. It's like they hate Trump so much that they don't care, like how close or I mean, they'll care once a war actually does start. Trust me, then they care. But they don't care as long as it hurts Trump's image and hurts his chances in 2020, and puts him with one more, add another problem on that plate of his. They love it. Brian Wilson. Let me read this. I like this. This is a very, very good comment. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, the Patriot batteries and top notch. Whether it's even high altitude, whatever they try to, it would be very difficult to hit. But I'm more worried about them hitting an ally. Although we do have a lot of our defense, missile defense capabilities in these countries like South Korea, Japan. But if they were able to hit or even try to hit, it's going to cause a chain reaction. That's my concern. And who knows? Who knows what this groundbreaking? I just don't know what it is. I know it's significant because they seem to be concerned that the U.S. will strike them. However, the timing is suspect. Let's just say that. With everything about to go down. I mean, folks, it's going to be the 8th tomorrow. I mean, that's D-Class Eve, I can't even imagine the stories that are going to start coming out tomorrow, maybe tonight. Just the stuff I have for the show later on. So much stuff. So much. A lot of connections made as well. It's going to be a good show. Great show. But hold on. Let me read Brian Wilson. China is North Korea. Next thing to understand is who, what also controls China. Been Rothschild, deep state, intel / military running China since Opium War. They took over everything. Treasury, central bank, resources. He's correct. He's correct as far as the banks, the resources, the all that. That's really where a country's wealth lies. So, yeah. The Rothschilds, they have a history of doing stuff like that. Same thing when what was it? What was the war with England and who were they fighting? Anyway, there was a war with England, and I don't want to say it wrong. I'll talk about it in the next show. I'll look it up. But anyways, they went to the English. The powerful, the bank is the ones who are holding all the bonds and everything, and they told them. Now they had just found out that back then information was power, but it took a long time to travel. Yet they literally went to like the front lines, had someone bring them the information, went to England, and they knew that news was about to get back that England won. They go to England and they start spreading to everyone. England, we lost. We're lost. It's inevitable. England lost the war. Everyone starts selling for nothing, for pennies, just to get something, just to get out before they lose it all. It'd be worthless. So you might as well just get something. They're selling low. They buy it all. And then once the word comes the next day that they actually won, all of a sudden those things are all worth not only are they not pennies that they sold them for, but they're now worth exponentially more than they were before. So that was a huge power move by one Rothschild, and that was the same Rothschild, I believe, that sent his 5 sons. Either that or that was the son of the Rothschild who sent out his 5 sons. You know what? I think it was the son of the Rothschild who sent out his 5 sons. Yeah, that sounds, because they didn't send them out from England. One of them was sent to England. If I'm correct on that, I think I am. Anyways, great. That was very insightful, well put, and informative. Good job, Brian Wilson. I like that. Any country on earth would be signing their death wish if it was sent our way. That's true. I just worry, though, that the weaponry nowadays, nobody on this earth will not be affected tremendously. At that point, it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, they'd be done. I agree. They'd be done. But the fallout, how are other countries going to react? How's it going to, I mean, where does that put the future of the world? I mean, a World War III with the technology. They had World War I, then they had World War II within 30 years, right? In like 25 years. World War III, I mean, all this time later, and technology has just taken off. It'd be big. All right, let me just get through these comments real quick. I just want to make sure yeah, Mao was a Yale man. Yes, that's very true. Yep, and they funded both sides of almost every war. A couple new faces in here, but I love it. Very, very, very knowledgeable. By the way, Nicholas Brown, was that you? That time that told me that Q was coming back? No, I don't think it was you. It was a name that was sounded like yours, but I think it was more like 2 first names type of name. Alright. Alright, guys, so I gotta go get ready for this show. I just wanted to see. Oh, Angel, you're sick? That's too bad. I hope you're feeling better if that's you that you're talking about. Alright, guys, so we got some good stuff in store in a little bit. And oh yeah, Trump at the live Israel summit. We'll touch on that and much, much more. In fact, it was like so much that oh yeah, the Waters World today with Q. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But they're talking about it for a reason. Just no matter what they're saying, they're talking about it for a reason. And anybody who actually has followed it and knows what it's all about, and knows what the actual intel is, and knows, what he has said and hasn't said, and when I say he, but it's a team. It's a military and also a civilian as well, from what I understand, and but mostly military, and it's precision. In fact, we'll probably talk about this tonight as well. I have reason to believe they've been running a lot of what they've been doing. This is all planned out ahead of time. and they ran because the way the times, everything, it's just people look at a post and they just read the words. You have to look at every bit of data. I mean, we're dealing with precision here. And I think they're running it off a relay switch. And I'll get into that. But I don't want to give away too much. I just wanted to go live, talk about this, just kind of bring this to your attention. It was being reported all over the world, not so much here in the U.S. So I thought it was breaking as far as the test actually, them reporting that it did happen. By the way, the test was not, it didn't just happen. It happened yesterday, but nobody knew about it outside of North Korea, besides governments and elite. As far as being reported on, it wasn't reported on until just this past hour when I started. Like 45 minutes before I started, it started being reported overseas. But nothing in the U.S. And it directly involves us. Everyone else is talking about it but us. That's another little tidbit that makes me kind of think. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this whole story. But I don't think this is another puff in their chest and, just trying to say the most, be just dramatic. And I don't think it's that. So, Red Pill News Dispensary, guys. I will be with you. So right now it's about 11 right now. Shoot. I need a little bit more time. You know what? In about 15 minutes, I'm gonna change the time. You'll if you guys check anytime 11:15 or later. If you just check if you click it, it'll say what time I'm going live. That'll be the time that I'm going live. Whether it says 11:45, a little bit later. It's Saturday night, so I figured, it should work out. So yeah, at 11:15, I'll know by then when I'm going live, and I will be on time. I'm always on time. Sometimes I'm 5 minutes late, but I'm never ridiculously late. Okay, guys. So Red Pill News Dispensary. All right.